The Port of Hood River will hold a special meeting on July 14th at 4 p.m. Although there's no agenda posted yet, it's an easy bet as to the topic: extending the purchase sales agreement for the Lower Hannell Mill property. That's the proposed site for the Amazon warehouse sorting facility. After all, with more than $3 million on the line for the port, a pending appeal with the County Planning Commission denial of approval to build, and a looming deadline of July 21st for the sales agreement, what else would you expect? Here's some of the backstory of this whole situation for those who need reminding. In September 2025, Port Commissioners held an executive session about the property sale. In the meeting later that afternoon, they quickly approved the sale with no discussion whatsoever, referring to page 5 from the executive session packet. Although commissioners gave no information about who the Hannell Mill property was going to be sold to, they seem to have missed the fact that someone posted a draft sales agreement showing Amazon as the purchaser. Executive Director Kevin Greenwood starts off the meeting by adding this item to the overall agenda.
I do have one, and that we want to add under action item to add the purchase and sale agreement with the Lower Hannell Mill. Okay. To action item.
Because of that last minute addition, Tor Beaker later isn't quite sure what action item is going to be handled next by the whole Port Commission.
What's the next thing we're doing? You say it's an action item, it's not on our agenda?
Oh, I have a motion.
Yeah, right. So this is the, we're adding at the beginning based upon the executive session.
Oh, right.
We're coming out, we are adding an action item, which is approving the PSA, the land use application.
Which page?
Well, it's it would be in the executive session.
That's fine.
Page 5.
Yes. So I'd like to make a motion to authorize the executive director to sign the county land use application and to execute the purchase and sale agreement pending final legal review.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Great, thank you.
By November 2025, the port meeting featured commissioners joking about where to spend the Lower Hannell Mill proceeds, with a reminder from the finance director about internal controls, and then a general decision to send $500,000 to the proposed airport terminal building and to use the rest of the $3 million for waterfront construction, including the roundabout.
Okay, this
Okay.
yeah, the next one's Lower Hannell Mill proceeds. How do you guys want to use those proceeds once
I'll take them.
everything's closed?
No, I already gave him the best.
Not mine.
We have internal controls that will prohibit that, so next.
I'd like to make the proposal that we earmark $500,000 for the airport building project and shovel the rest of it into the roundabout.
Second that.
Commissioners talk about what the $500,000 will mean in terms of grants and a funding commitment for the new airport terminal and decide that that's enough for the time being.
That's a reasonable
Like
amount.
earmarking.
A reasonable amount for right now, and I will point out that facility will also be an income generator.
By April 2026, Thrive Hood River has appealed the planning department's approval of the Amazon last mile delivery station, and public testimony is beginning to be heard. Almost all of the written and spoken testimony received is opposed to the Amazon facility, although the arguments vary in terms of their alignment with county zoning rules and ordinances. However, there is one piece of spoken testimony in favor of the project.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Christy Chapman. I'm at 4290 Alpenglow. I am a port commissioner, but I'm speaking in my individual capacity, not on behalf of the full commission. Thank you all for your time and volunteer. The subject property is zoned and designated for industrial employment uses. Our land use system depends on long-range planning to determine where development should occur. You guys do a good job with that. When a proposal is consistent with those adopted plans and zonings, that should guide all of your decisions. Predictability in land use decisions is also essential for public confidence and for the implementation of adopted plans. Applying the code as written and as adopted is critical to maintaining that entire system. And I understand this is a quasi judicial decision, and so the focus should really be on whether the application meets applicable county criteria. Issues like traffic, environmental impacts, and compatibility are very important, but I feel like those have been addressed through technical review by the county itself and by ODOT. And everyone seems to have signed off on everything. I encourage the county planning commission to ground its decision in the county's adopted plans and zoning and apply the approval criteria consistently. And thank you for your time.
Thanks, Christine.
By the end of May, Hood River County Planning Commission rejects the use of the Hannell Mill property for an Amazon sorting facility by a vote of 5-2. That takes us to the June 16th meeting, where Dan Kimichek, the property developer, asks the Port of Hood River to extend the purchase sales agreement to allow time for the land negotiations to continue.
I'm Dan Kubicek. I'm with Ambrose Property Group, and I wanted to come discuss with you guys today about the property, the port's property over on Neal Creek Mill Road. What I wanted to do here tonight is to request that the port hold a special meeting to approve and discuss the third extension of PSA to allow a little bit more time to coordinate approvals for the scheduled development on this project. As some may know, the current PSA expires on 7/20, so July 20th. And the next board meeting is on, wouldn't you know, July 21st. So obviously there's a conflict there with the timing between the two. As everybody's well aware, there was an application filed through Hood River for an industrial land use permit for a 48,000 square foot warehouse facility. This is where bulk shipments will come in via truck, basically get sorted internally in this facility, then get delivered via van to the local community. I should just note that this site obviously has got some good components from design. Stormwater has already been taken a look at, positive recommendation from staff. We're also planning for EV capacities for 100% of the vans to be used out there. So a lot of benefits with this facility. The proposed building obviously fits in with the general uses with the surrounding neighbors. The site was formerly a mill site, and the one thing that we should keep in mind is, this was part of the mill bill, and obviously the mill bill took these sites that were former mill sites and allowed for them to be redeveloped for industrial uses. So we feel that we are meeting the intent of that bill, and we also feel like we're complying with all the local design codes. There has been obviously some community pushback on the project, which we have heard and we received, and we understand their concerns. However, we don't think that this should dissuade, certain businesses with, we'll call it name brands, from developing in Hood River. So that's kind of where we stand on the project as of now. So in closing, I would like to just say that, we're going to continue to be supportive of the port, for signing the original PSA for the redevelopment of this ground. And again, just requesting that the board hold a special meeting sometime between now and July 20th to extend PSA on this project. That's it. Thank you guys for your time.
That takes us to today's updated website showing a July 14th, 4 p.m. board special meeting of the Port of Hood River. Nothing posted on the agenda yet, no packet, but it's hard to think it will be anything other than a discussion of the request to extend the purchase and sales agreement. It's reasonable to allow Amazon to appeal the Planning Commission's decision to the full Board of Commissioners, and if they decide it's necessary, to the Oregon Land Use Board of Appeals. At least at this meeting, it looks like public comment should be allowed, so that's something to look forward to. I'll keep you all posted once the agenda posts.